Hi, my name's Helen Westerman. I work for the Nspcc as Campaigns Manager.
And I'm Jim, I'm an O2 guru at the O2 store in Sunderland.
And we're here today to talk to you about how to keep your children safe online during the long school summer holidays. Our colleague Ali is going to ask us some questions, so hopefully this will be of use to you.
So Helen, can you please tell us how can you start a conversation with your child about online safety?
Talking to your children about their online world is just like talking to them about their day at school. So showing an interest is really important. We hear routinely from children contacting Childline that often parents and carers and other adults in their lives aren't particularly interested in their online activity. But actually, if we do show an interest, we're much more likely to find out what our children enjoy doing, but also some of the risks associated with those activities.
Thanks. And Jim, where can you find more information about apps and games that your children are using?
Well, the one that we recommend through the Nspcc and O2 partnership is NetAware. I'll quickly show you what I made earlier. There you go. So we have NetAware. I'm going to go on. So that's the actual application itself. It's reviewed by over 3,000 children and parents, as well as O2 gurus. So we review the games, the websites, anything that could be downloaded directly. They actually have a review themselves. So the NetAware app, download it, it's worthwhile giving it a go.
Another one for you, Jim. If a parent is concerned about their child spending too much time online, what can they do?
Well, we've just started a new application with O2. So if you have more than one device with O2, you automatically get this. I'll quickly show you. It's called Custodio. So Custodio, when you log on, give it a little second, you'll have a parent and a child. So if I tap on the child, you can see exactly what the child's been up to throughout the day on their device. You can also set rules, whether they be for gaming, web filtering, restricted times, location, calls, texts that come in. The idea with Custodio is you can set boundaries, but there's also a big element of trust. So you have to have that conversation with the child on, this is what I'm going to monitor you on, and make it worthwhile for both of you.
Thanks, Jim. Helen, how do you start a conversation with your child about issues such as sexting and online porn?
Parents and carers often feel quite uncomfortable talking about these difficult issues, and your child may mention them to you, which is great because it means they want to have a conversation. But actually, if you're concerned about these issues, maybe you can link it with a storyline in a soap or something you've heard on TV or the radio. It's really important that we talk to our children about what they share, because actually those pictures are out there forever. So talking with our children about what they share, who they share it and when they share it is really important. And actually as parents sometimes we just have to have those difficult conversations, and usually for children they're fairly matter of fact about them. But having those conversations early and often, as soon as our children are starting to use tech independently, is important.
And Jim or Helen, if a child has shared personal photographs of themselves online, what would you tell them to do?
I think, I'll take this one, Helen, all right. I think the thing to remember when you share an image, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that, that image, once it's gone, in essence, isn't yours. It's in the online public domain. So we wouldn't share anything that you wouldn't want your friends and family to see, or your potential children in the future. So just be very aware of what you're sharing and the audience it's going to, that might not just be the only audience.
We do know that children do share images that they later come to regret, and actually the O2 and Nspcc helpline as well as Childline work with the Internet Watch Foundation to have images removed from the most popular social networking sites. So it's worth bearing in mind that if your child does share something that they later want to have removed, to contact that O2 Nspcc helpline or Childline.
Thank you. And Helen again, do you think there needs to be more awareness of our digital footprints, the consequences of what we do online?
Most young people, teenagers in particular, do live in the moment, so actually that dodgy text or seemingly funny picture can come back to bite an adolescent when they're applying for a college or university place or going for that first job. What we share of ourselves online is out there, as Jim said, for everybody to see, both now and in the future. So it's important that we talk to our young people about the types of things that they share. Would that prevent them getting into college later? We've seen celebrities and MPs really struggling with this in recent times, maybe sharing something that they shouldn't have done a few years ago, and actually then someone's found that and shared that all over social media. So talking with our children about what they share and who they share it with is critical.
Helen again, what would you say to a parent who was concerned that their children were talking to strangers online?
We know that young people are gaming and in chat rooms and on social media, and sometimes that involves people that they don't know. That's not inherently a bad thing. However, there are risks associated with talking with people that you don't know. Really important that we talk to our young people about what they share with people that they don't know. So not sharing which school you go to, where you live, too much personal details. And if somebody is pushing your child to share that personal details, ask your child to come to you. You're not going to be cross, you're not going to blame the child, you're going to praise them and thank them for coming to you. But actually you can then do something about that. We do not want children sharing personal information with people that they don't know, because there are obviously risks associated with that.
Jim, where can you get advice on setting up parental controls and privacy settings?
Yeah, that's a nice easy one. So O2 Gurus. So I've been an O2 Guru for 10 years. I work in this store full time. I don't sell, I'm just here for impartial advice. But if you come in, you can make an appointment. You don't have to be on O2. Anyone can come in and we do a half-hour appointment where we'll sit down and we'll just go through any concerns that you might have.
And I have to say, it's a brilliant service because I've used it with my own daughter.
Helen, how would you tell parents that they could spot the signs that their child was potentially being groomed online?
It's a really difficult one, but we do know where this has happened, that parents have said their child was particularly secretive, shutting down devices or keeping their mobile phone with them at all times, because often the perpetrator will tell that child not to tell their parent about what's going on. For the child or young person, they may believe that they're in a relationship with a person that is grooming them online, and it's particularly difficult because they do trust that person. If you are concerned about your own child, do contact the Nspcc helpline for advice, talk to school or talk to the police, because grooming is an offence.
And Jim, if a parent is concerned about buying devices with possible tracking devices and cameras, what would you say to them?
Make an appointment, come in store and see us, that's exactly why we're here. We do see a lot of applications where you can share your location in a very friendly manner, in a closed bubble. But there's a lot of them, like Snapchat for instance. When you first go on Snapchat, your location is broadcast to everybody and you have to go in and turn on ghost mode so that it isn't shared to everyone. But yeah, book an appointment, come in, sit down with a guru and we'll go through it step by step.
Helen, what advice could you give to a young person who has been bullied online?
We know from callers to Childline that bullying is one of the top 3 issues that children and young people are worried about, both in the real world and in the online world. If you're experiencing bullying online, it's not your fault, it never is your fault, and you need to tell somebody about it. We know that a lot of the social media sites now have a bullying alert button, so that you can report it. But actually, if you need help and support, it's important that you talk to a parent or carer, somebody in school or Childline on 0800 1111, because actually bullying can really lead to children having low self-esteem, not wanting to go out, feeling frightened of going to school. We don't want our young people feeling like that, and help and support is available.
And finally, could you give parents some tips about what they can do about keeping their children safe online?
Yeah, the first one is to be interested, to show interest in what your children like to do online, and sometimes that can be a bit mind-numbing. Playing that 10th game of Clash of Clans or looking at Zoella's account twice in a week is boring, but actually we do find out who's influencing our children, who's talking to our children and what they are doing, and that can open up avenues for conversations about some of the more difficult issues, so it's absolutely worth doing. You don't need to be an expert, and actually our children can help us navigate the online world safely too.
My top tip would be talk positively about technology. So there is a big fear factor around technology and what, different generations have different knowledge gaps, and just be enthusiastic about it. Be enthusiastic about the games they're playing, exactly what Helen's just said there. Get involved.
And our third tip would be to seek help and support. There's loads of support out there. You've got O2 Gurus in store here in Sunderland, you've got the O2 Nspcc helpline, and you've got the Nspcc helpline, and loads of information and advice on both our websites. So you're not alone in this, there's lots of information out there about how to keep children safe. We hope this session has proved useful for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.